What is up, everybody? Destin Legary here, and welcome to episode 2 of a Loot Drop Surprise. We are live, and yes, we are a little bit earlier in the week than expected. Eric's is actually out on a little bit of a trip, so Dantics is here today. Thank you, Dantics, for making the time.
No problem. You can see there's light outside, so it is quite different for us.
And Parris, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? What games are you into? How did we meet? How long have we been best friends? All the good stuff, all the details.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate this. I've been watching your work over the years, especially the Destiny stuff. You can find me on a podcast called Gamertag Radio. We also have a Twitch channel, which is also called Gamertag Radio. I have my own personal YouTube channel. I'll leave that. People can find it. But I'm on Twitter all the time at Vicious696. The ramblings of an angry old man is what I like to say. And the games that I play, like I said, Destiny has been a big one for me over the past 4 years. And recently, I started getting into the Division in the past year, and obviously now here with the Division 2, I've really gone all in with that, and I've been having a blast with it. And when did we meet? I think we met at the Destiny 2 reveal event. I think that's when the first time we met.
Was it? So, was it at the reveal event, or was it at the review event? Because at the review event, I remember hanging out. Yeah,
the review event we hung out, but I remember at the reveal event, I think I was with Deej, and you guys were recording after the show.
Yeah.
And you came up with Fran, and then I, kind of introduced myself. Hey, I watched Fire Team Chat, the whole thing, and it was really brief, but that was the first time. But yeah, the review event for Destiny 2 was when I really got a chance to sit down and talk to you.
Well, awesome. I keep seeing you at events. I keep seeing you putting in the work. Like good content creators do, like Dantics has, like I have, like you are right now. And it is great to have you on the show today. There's a lot going on. Not a lot in Anthem, but we're going to talk a little bit about the update that did come out. And the developers are being pretty quiet. They're talking a little bit, but not too much. I think they're sort of easing their way back into social media. We're going to talk about how Arc Week in Destiny 2 is a disaster. So that'll be a fun conversation. We're going to talk about Division 2. Guess what? They had their little video show today. State of the game. By little, I mean huge video show, of course. And we're going to talk about Borderlands 3 drama. Let's get right into it with that, actually, Dantics. What is going on with Randy Pitchford and Troy Baker?
So for those who have played the Tales from the Borderlands, which I have recently finished again, it's an amazing game. Get into it if you really want to follow the storyline after the pre-sequel. There was a character in there called Reese, and he is voiced by Troy Baker, a very famous voice actor. For those who don't know, they probably would have heard of him by now. They enjoy video games. Well, he's not voicing Reese in Borderlands 3, apparently. So a lot of people aren't happy with that. I believe in Melbourne, Australia, where I actually live, he was in a conference and he mentioned that he isn't actually returning. And then Randy Pitchford went on Twitter to say that they actually did reach out to Troy, and Troy rejected the offer. So I don't know what to make of this. What do you guys think?
Clearly, it is drama at the finest. Randy Pitchford and Troy Baker are at odds. There's probably behind-the-scenes scandals, and oh man, we gotta break this sucker wide open. I can't wait until Schreier has his 3,000-word essay about this minor interaction. No, in all seriousness,
20 sources.
In all seriousness. This seems like some sort of miscommunication down the line where Troy and Randy Pitchford, or the audio designer, something weird happened where like this game of telephone, something got all jumbled up. But who knows? I don't know. What do you think, Parris?
I'm with you. I just think maybe there was some miscommunication along the way. Maybe he's actually just 100% telling the truth and he turned it down. I mean, if we are to believe Mr. Randy, then it's really not going to be that big of a deal when we actually play Borderlands 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the quotes exactly are Troy Baker. I don't agree with Gearbox on how they're handling it. I really want Gearbox to know that if they're going to bring back characters from Tales of the Borderlands, it should be the people who originated the characters. They shouldn't just recast willy-nilly because as a fan, that matters to me. Now, He's right. I think when you were cast as a voice actor, you should at least be reached out to for comment. And if you help develop the voice of that character and the style of that character, I think the voice actor goes a long way. Like, imagine if the voice actor for Cade was originally cast by somebody else, or imagine if the Ghost in Destiny had a different voice actor at one point who did a different delivery, and it just wasn't as memorable. So they totally replaced the whole thing. Like, imagine if that had happened.
Imagine something bigger. Imagine like Commander Shepard or something being completely recast in Mass Effect 3, right?
Yes. Yeah. That would be pretty significant. I don't know.
Well, look,
do you guys?
The audio director reached out, right? So it was the audio director. Perhaps there was a failure of communication. Maybe he didn't type Reese out correctly, and he thought, oh, it's a Reese's Pieces ad or something like that. I don't know. But it does seem like Troy Baker, with what he said exactly, they shouldn't just recast willy-nilly, because as a fan, that matters to me. I don't think he would have said that if he actually got offered the position, or if he was approached. That seems like a little bit of hostility there, a little bit like he was thrown back by his character being introduced to a game and he had no idea. I seem to think that in terms of what Randy Pitchford said, that the role actually isn't going to be that big, or maybe the character's matured a little bit and his voice is kind of, well, lack of better word, his whatever have dropped maybe a little bit, because he was a very immature character throughout the Tales of the Borderlands series. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just a more mature character now. He does have that mustache, if you guys saw him in the trailer. So
yeah, he's older. People think he's a little dodgy as a character. Parris, so what do you think about that? And secondarily, can you think of some examples where voice acting changed and it really threw you off in a game in the past?
I can tell you right now, and I'm forgetting which Batman Arkham Knight this was, but it was the prequel one where it wasn't Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Completely threw me off. But ironically enough, Troy Baker stepped in for Mark Hamill as the Joker and killed it, where it didn't matter at all. But that one is the first one I think of. What was that? Arkham Origins, I believe it was called.
You are
Something
correct.
Like
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you think that Reese's voice is just changing so that like they're recasting, or I don't know. I just want to dig into it a little bit more and just kind of get your thoughts, because you've been a little quiet.
I think of it this way. If Troy Baker is to be believed and he was not offered the gig and they gave it to someone else, he is so talented of a voice actor. I mean, he is literally the man of 1,000 voices, right? So even if Reese is more mature and his voice is changing, why wouldn't you still get the original voice actor? Because you know he can obviously inflect in a different tone if he needs to sound older, to sound younger, or whatever the case may be. So in that sense, when we look at what Troy Baker said, his side of the argument, like you said earlier, I would tend to believe him, seeing that he seems to be so passionate about it. Either the audio director did not communicate it to him the right way, or they just flat out never offered him the role. So maybe it was a cost-cutting move. Maybe they figured they could get a cheaper voice actor, or whatever the case.
Troy Baker is the Nolan North of 2019.
Exactly.
I thought of that one 5 minutes ago and held on to it until you finished your point, and then just put it out there to be a little sassy. But Randy Pitchford did respond. He said, "You'll have to ask Troy. I was told by the audio director, as you guys stated, that he turned it down. Fortunately, that's how Rice appears in the game. With how Rice appears in the game, I don't think it actually matters at all. You'll see for yourself when the game comes out, and you may disagree with me on that or not." And that was the only thing for Borderlands I saw this week.
Yeah. I'm seeing him. I love Randy Pitchford, right? There's so much I like about him besides his like 15-minute long magic tricks, but I think he is redirecting the blame a lot recently. It's like, it's the producer's fault, or it's the laptop's fault, or it's this's fault, or it's 2K's fault. I'm seeing a lot of blame being pushed, and that doesn't sit well for me, especially for a CEO. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right here. So,
feels weird, but I'll leave my conspiracy theory hat on the table for now and
It's always on with me, baby.
and redirect the conversation. Talk about a lot of content creators have said, big announcement. I'm going to be at a Borderlands 3 reveal event. IGN will be there. I can confirm that also. But we haven't nailed down who's going. I'm hoping it's me. So a lot of people are going to be going to this Borderlands reveal event in some capacity, and I'm really stoked. Have either of you guys gotten invites?
We are still TBD. We're working out the details. I actually live in Southern California, so it's real easy for me to go.
Nice.
But we're still TBD on who's going to be able to go. And hey, 2K Gearbox, if you're watching this, we really want to go.
Yeah. What about you, Dantics? Are you doing anything on the other side of the globe?
Yeah, so it's a little harder for me to get over to the other side of the globe. But I'm in talks with 2K. We'll see what they say. There might be something in Sydney, so we'll see how we go. I'm pretty confident that we'll have some footage. So
with this stuff, the reason he's being so cagey is because often we don't know if we're breaking embargo or not. So we're really careful about what we say and how we say it. Like I said,
exactly right.
Everyone else has tweeted everything. I can confirm IGN's going. I don't know if I'm going because like IGN has a lot of employees and we have to decide who the best editorial lead is to go to an event like that. Maybe I'm too busy. I do manage a team and I'm doing all this other behind the scenes stuff and I have this huge project. So all those things sort of have to be considered as you're doing something at a big company, or if Dantics is, coordinating something with the publisher, or Parris is, you got to be really careful. So that's the caginess, but it's exciting. So let's just talk about the event. First gameplay. How far along do you guys think they are? Do you think they're like ready to launch at this point?
It's September, right? They got to be at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The full game's got to be done. They're just squashing bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think 100%. I agree with you 100% there. I think they're basically done. I think they're at the stage where they're just QA. They're putting out marketing collateral. They're making trailers. They're making videos. They're preparing to get a lot of us in and play the game. And they obviously have learnt from previous mistakes this year and the end of last year with other developers. And they know they're not going to put an unfinished copy into somebody's hands before it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So...
For sure. I mean, I was there when they announced this at the first, PAX South in Texas. They announced that they were making it. And they were actually looking for people to come help work on Borderlands 3. And then a year or two later, they did the Unreal Engine demo. I remember because these were huge traffic drivers on IGN, right? So I'm like, wow, okay, people are really stoked for Borderlands 3. Like, I'm excited, but you don't really know until you start seeing big numbers like that. So I'm stoked. I think the game's going to be pretty far along. I'm stoked to finally see gameplay and get a feel for what this game's going to be like. The Borderlands franchise needs to evolve in a few interesting ways, having played Borderlands 2 recently. What are some of the things that you guys hope to see in the future iterations of Borderlands, that maybe previous games didn't quite nail right? Parris, do you have any thoughts?
Well, my thing, you hit on the interesting point of you feel that it needs to evolve, because when we really think about Borderlands, it's kind of the granddaddy of where we are now with these quote unquote looter shooter type of games, right? So when I think of the original Borderlands and Borderlands 2, I played them, but I didn't love them, right? It was kind of when I started playing Destiny and I had an actual real fleshed out raid, and I'm like, okay, this is the thing. And obviously we see now with games like the Division 2 where they're marketing the entire game around an end game. And my thing with Borderlands is what I want to see is when I've completed that story, I've completed the campaign, and I've had my, 40 hours of entertainment out of that. Now what? What are you giving me so that when I get with three of my other buddies, what are we chasing other than just the random loot drops that are coming? Is there this pinnacle in-game activity that I can participate in that's going to give me unique items from there? I mean, I want to see more specialized kind of quests, things of that nature, that I know that when I'm done with the game, that there's something the week after, the month after, 3 months after, that's not just DLC, but just activities that are quote unquote the end game for the more hardcore dedicated player versus what the casual player would do in the campaign.
I agree. That sounds absolutely excellent. There is one key thing that Borderlands 3 needs, and I swear to God, Gearbox, if it doesn't have vaulting, I'm going to riot. It needs vaulting in the game. Playing Borderlands 2 and not being able to climb up little ledges, I'm like, dear God, how did I play this? Literally unplayable. Like just little quality of life things definitely need to be added to the Borderlands experience, just the core experience. I think the shooting feels really good. I think the loot progression feels pretty good. Needs more vault space. Of course, every game needs more vault space. But yeah, for sure, that is just mechanically one of the small things that I would really, really like to see happen within the world of Borderlands 3. What about you, Dantics? In the Borderlands universe, what is one thing that you would like to see evolve with the game as we go into this new era?
It's hard to nail down just one thing. Like you said previously, the end game would be great to expand upon. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw something different at you guys. I think the actual progression to end game needs a little bit of an improvement in terms of character skills and how much interaction you actually have with them, and obviously the weapons themselves, the loot themselves. I found myself not even caring what I got. A lot of the cases when I was leveling, it was just like, this is the most damage I've got right now, so I'm just going to use that. However, I'd like to see, more legendaries. I'd like to see more really awesome builds, things that you can build a character around based on your skills. Say, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, you're making a good point. I was in agreement.
Yeah, no, you both went like simultaneously. I was expecting
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Since I already interrupt you, I would just go on top of that. The thing when they, did the reveal that excited, but at the same time scared me is they promoted, did they say 1 billion different combinations of weapons or something like that?
Yeah.
It concerns me in the sense that it just means, like you just said, that is anything really going to matter? Because there's just so many different combinations. Are they going to be able to tune in these weapons so that when I'm putting together all these crazy combinations, it's going to feel different than the weapon that I just discarded 5 minutes ago? That's kind of my only concern, that they have so many. I would rather them say, and we have 200 unique weapons and we tune the hell out of them so they're all unique and special no matter what you're using. And that's kind of not what we're going to get with this. It really just goes back to what we had in the first 2 Borderlands games.
Yeah, well, I was running a review for the Game of the Year edition. I found that there was one pistol that was just the best end game, and there was a brand new one that they introduced with the Game of the Year edition, and it just wasn't as good. Like we've talked about previously, and Arix has brought up in previous episodes, if there's just a weapon that just simply does more damage, it's just going to be straight up better than the other ones with unique and interesting effects. Mm-hmm. So like you said, Parris, I would like to have like 200 just really optimized unique guns end game that you can choose between, and none are better than each other. Well, one might be a little better, but it'd be down to preference, where, there's a really good rocket launcher. Maybe there's 3, 4, 5 really good rocket launchers instead of just one really good one that can roll all of these random statistics. Then you have to get really lucky to get those random statistics. So that's where the 1 billion comes from anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's the one thing. There's heaps I'd like, but...
Got it. I did not expect to go this long on Borderlands, full disclosure. I just kind of went into a lot of different directions. Real quick, shout out to those people who subscribed. I meant to turn off notifications, but they seem to just stay on now. So thank you. Thank you for subscribing on twitch.tv/Destin channel. Let's move on to Anthem. Anthem had some patch notes. Who wants to read them? Parris or Dantics? Who's excited? Who would like to read them?
Well,
I need one volunteer.
Okay. I'll read out what I can see right now. I'm not sure if this is the exact patch notes here, but
take it away.
Fixed an issue that was causing loot drops for javelins.
No. Wait. You got to read it in VL voice. Hyper VL. Act like this is the most exciting thing that you have ever done. Like you just got an all expenses world trip, but you have to nail this read.
I was on the phone at Jetstar for like 2 hours. I'm like in that really pessimistic voice right now. It's going to be like, all right. Fix an issue that was causing loot to drop for javelins other than the one being used.
Yes.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So let's just talk about that for a second. How long has this been happening, and who's been stealing my loot?
Let me say something. I don't think this is a bug. I kind of like that other javelin gear drops when you play as a different one, because I don't want to just play as each javelin to unlock everything. Like I have so many dupes for my ranger. I was like, just give me some stuff for the storm so I can like have a competent build
Destiny.
when I hop on over there. Yeah, kind of like Destiny, right? Well, wait.
Yeah.
Destiny did that at launch. Does it really do it now?
Well, I was thinking the original. I don't think it does it in Destiny 2. I think Destiny 1 did that, where I could be a warlock, but I would get hunter gear. But I think now, I don't think Destiny 2 does it now.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't mind it with Anthem if loot drops for other javelins. Probably because you get like 40 pieces of garbage. Like if you're going to give me blues, greens, and whites anyway, make those for the other javelins at least. I think that would be reasonable. And then once you have your base set for all that stuff, then start giving me blues, then purples or whatever.
You have only 3 other javelins, and they kind of don't need levels, right? You don't need levels on them, so you don't need to worry about that. It's not like Diablo 3 where you need to level up a whole new character. So following the Diablo 3 loot model probably doesn't work in this case. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see more from other classes. It hasn't been affecting me at all, to be honest. I'm seeing mostly what I run, mostly the storm. So
that's good.
Address the number of issues that could occasionally cause NVIDIA highlights to crash.
Not bad. I was going to see if Parris wanted to do one. I mean, that's good. No more crashing during NVIDIA. I can only DM you on Twitter. I realized I can't message you on there because it'll minimize the window and break the whole stream. So are you getting my DMs, Parris? Otherwise, I'll read the next one and you can read the one after that.
No, I do have it.
All right, you read that one. Yeah. Announcer voice, hype voice for past.
Wait. I know I'm screwing this up. Which one? What was the last one you just read? The NVIDIA one, right? The fixed an issue.
Fixed. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I can do this. All right. Fixed an issue that would sometimes cause players to not be able to interact with Owen or hear his audio at the end of the legendary version of the mission, Finding Old Friends. Titans, Urix, Luminaries, and Fury enemies should no longer disappear when another player starts an event in free play.
Not bad. The most exciting
give that man a contract.
The most exciting patch note reading show ever. I'll try one here. I'm going to do it like Mortal Kombat style. Fixed an issue that was causing Elysian cache items to not appear when completing another activity or restarting the game. Finish him. No, I don't like it. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit with the patch note read. I'll do another one normal. The newsfeed will now properly show content again upon launching into the game. I think that's better. That's more tonally appropriate. And then the last one. Do you want to read the last two there, Dantics, afterwards?
I've lost where you are because I've got a completely different list.
Great. I totally screwed everything up. All right. Fixed an issue that was causing Ursix and Titans to not spawn as frequently in free play. Fixed an issue that would cause the screen to shake when enabling DLSS and turning off motion blur. And that is everything. That are all the patch notes. And overall, not a lot's happening in Anthem right now. They're building up to the big update around the corner, right?
Yeah. Is this enough, and is this soon enough? I mean, technically speaking, it's been a month and a half, hasn't it? Maybe a bit over that. And we're just getting kind of spot fixes. I mean, I can't wait for this massive update. If this massive update brings people back, it could breathe some life into Anthem, and I'm really hoping for that. I'm crossing my fingers for that. So please, may this radio silence be worth it.
Yeah, no stream for 2 weeks. They basically got beat down pretty bad in that Kotaku article. Like, it is not a good PR article, and that's largely why they're being quiet. Polygon just wrote an article that Ben Irving actually retweeted and said, "Hey, I do want to spread a little bit of positivity. They're not being totally silent, but they're definitely being very reserved and careful about what they say when right now, because they probably just don't want anything to be misconstrued. So they're like on media blackout, basically, I think, and being exceptionally careful. I do hope that the employees do figure out the whole union thing. We kind of talked about it on last episode. I don't want to retread old ground. So check out Loot Drops episode 1 if you're curious what we thought about the whole Jason Schreier article. And we will keep you posted on all things Anthem going forward. But that's about it for this week, right? I haven't seen anything about Anthem.
No, there's been nothing. Like even Mike Gamble has been tweeting more about Mass Effect than he has been about Anthem. And what that says to me is, look, guys, let's just put it on hold for now. Put Anthem on hold for now. Let us finish what we're doing, then we'll talk more about that. And I think that's fine. I think that's completely fine.
So I agree. I mean, that's what they should do at this point. The damage has been done. It is what it is. So to continue to talk about something that you can't fix right now, I'd rather them go radio silent, work on the game, fix the issues, like you said, get to that big update, and hopefully that can get the game to a state where people will come back and start playing again.
That's what Bungie did after 2 Tokens and a Blue. That's what Hello Games did, and they came back and largely improved their game with Forsaken, with the No Man's Sky Next update, and hopefully Anthem, of course, can follow suit. I'll keep echoing that to death.
Shout out to Hello Games. Shout out. That is the biggest villain to hero story I have seen. That is it's admirable. They didn't make any money off of what they did until a lot later on, but they buckled down for a year, was it? Or around that. They buckled down for that and they just fixed their game. They just completely fixed it. And that is an amazing job. I want to see more of that.
For sure. Real quick, I was wondering, do either of you guys play Warframe regularly?
No, and I keep saying, hey, I'm going to play Warframe. I keep hearing these great things about it, but I've never actually scratched out the time to do it.
What about you, Dantics?
I have on Switch.
Okay. So just real quick, I see a lot of requests like, are you also going to cover Warframe? For now, the answer is no, because I am so uninformed about Warframe, more so than I am about Destiny, according to the internet. And I don't think I would be able to do Warframe justice, and because nobody plays regularly on the show, we will not be covering Warframe in the immediate future. If that changes, we will let you know. Maybe we'll get a Warframe guest on sometime if they have a big content update and sort of ask them questions about the world of Warframe. But I did kind of want to nip that in the bud and let you guys kind of know where I'm at with Warframe and why I opted not to talk about it. Like, I played it on stream for like an hour. That's how much I know about Warframe. Movement feels cool. It would just be a very dull episode. So let's talk about games that I sort of know, even though the internet says I don't. Like Destiny 2. Man, Destiny 2 Arc Week's going on, and it is an absolute trash fire. Parris, you have the run of show notes. Why don't you tell us what is going on with Arc Week? What has happened? Why are people freaking out?
All right, I'll be the people in the background.
The only show note I have is that Arc Week is a disaster, but I didn't put the fact like reserve. No. I made myself laugh. No, the PlayStation exclusive showed up on PC and Xbox this week. That was great.
Yeah.
And then there was the enhancement core glitch where it was just raining cores until they had to stop that. That was fun too.
Yeah. So right now, those two the PlayStation exclusive dropped on the two platforms it's not supposed to. That puts Bungie in legal hot water, so they have to pull it. But they also had an enhancement core glitch, which is the same as all of the enhancement core glitches that have occurred in the past. And basically, you just keep dismantling your pinnacle weapons and get enhancement cores, right? Congrats to those of you that got it. For the rest of us, they have literally eliminated all pinnacle weapons for the season. This is the worst event in Destiny history lately, because not only has it negatively impacted what is going on in the game, which was basically a patch, right? But now all the pinnacle weapons, the thing that you chase every season, are not acquirable.
Yeah, it's a problem.
This is a terrible update thus far. Yeah. I hope, look, of course I hope they fix it, but oh my God, this is bad.
What is going on with loot in these games?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Do we not understand programming well enough to know how hard it is to put loot in the game properly? Or
Having done Java for a quarter, don't you dare attack the programmers. It is really hard, okay? It is really hard.
All I'm saying is it's hard. I agree. I've done HTML, Java, I've done C++, ActionScript, all that stuff. I know how hard it is. That's why I flunked them all.
It's tough. It's tough. According to Versa Style in chat, thank you, Versa. Just FYI, it's hot fix tomorrow. Season of the patch notes is kicking off tomorrow. It looks like we can do stuff again. But yeah, in other Destiny news, and I'll talk more about this on Fireteam chat. I know, Dantics, you don't play Destiny too much, right?
No.
And Parris,
no,
you do a bit, right?
Yeah, I play Destiny. Since Division I've not played it, but yeah, I'm an active player.
So we have the Revelry coming around the corner. It looks like there's a new fusion rifle primary. You're going to be able to spring more orbs, and we're revisiting that space from the Harrowing. I can't remember what it was. The armor looks like grandma's pajamas, and yeah, I mean, it seems like it's an okay event. There's a golf swing emote that you can get. And I don't like the armor. Anyway, it starts April 16th and ends on May 7th. That's all.
So what's the?
I don't know what to say.
So what's the main takeaway from that?
It is an event that is happening. That is my main takeaway.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. This is what I was alluding to. So how long do you think it took him to make a major event? Not that long, right? So I'm looking forward to Anthem's major event.
Oh, okay. First of all, I don't consider the Revelry to be a major event. I think this just seems like, I don't know, it's like an odd seasonal thing. I think Destiny is in a super weird place tonight. I think this is what we're going to elaborate on in Fireteam chat on Friday on IGN. And it's just like, what are they doing? They have to fill a year. And I think Destiny 2, like, they're going to do their best to keep it trudging along. But if Season of Opulence isn't excellent or substantial, or the spring update with the new annual pass rumors turn out to be true and it's not super interesting, Destiny's going to continue to decline in their player base, and like people are just going to wait for Destiny 3. Parris, how are you feeling about Destiny?
See, since I'm not going to be on Fireteam chat, this is my opportunity to say this. I personally think just go ahead, not let the game die, but don't feel Bungie shouldn't feel obligated to try and keep the player base at a certain level for the rest of Destiny's 2 life. It's all about Destiny 3, in my opinion, because Destiny 3 is where they're no longer a part of Activision. They can free themselves of the PlayStation exclusive deals. They get to make the game that they want to make. It can be as hardcore as they want, as casual as they want, whatever the case may be, but it'll be their game. They can go just crazy with it, right? So Destiny 2 is like you said, is in such a weird place right now that I don't think they have the manpower to give the people the content that they need. It needs to be all hands on deck to make Destiny 3 the best possible game it can be. And as someone who's been there since the alpha, I'm okay. I'm okay with them going dark for 6 to 9 months to get Destiny 3 right next fall. That's all I really care about, because I feel like I've already had my years of entertainment. I've already done all these raids, all these great things. I don't need them to drop a big expansion in September with this giant raid. Been there, done that. Let's mix the formula up with Destiny 3 and let's do something different. And if you need a year to get that right, take that year. I'd rather Destiny 3 be all it can be at launch versus trying to hold on to Destiny 2.
I totally get what you're saying. I got a question for chat. Those of you watching live, let me know if you're reading in the comments later. This will be the pinned comment. I want to know if there is another annual pass. After seeing what this annual pass has offered, who's throwing down that money for a new one? I'm betting a lot of people are going to say no.
Yeah.
No, like there's too many other games out in the market right now. There's too many other things to do. It's just like, why? Like, I know this game is going to reach its ends shortly because you're going to be working on Destiny 3. So they would have to really, really hype it up. But that's the problem. They hype this one up and this is what it is. I have nothing to do in Destiny right now.
I think we all agree that well, the developers probably should go dark and work on more substantial content or a new game over trying to drag back customers that have left, drag back
Exactly.
viewers that have left. Because at the end of the day, that's just the life cycle of a game. You know, you have your peak period and then it slowly starts to decline, or rapidly just starts to decline, depending on how exactly the release is. But we should see more of that. We should see, okay, we've reached a life cycle. Let's ease it up. Let's go dark. Let's do a Hello Games and, you know, completely overhaul the game, or make a new one, make a sequel.
It's really...
And that's where...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
It's really funny.
That's where they make money, so that's really funny. Yep.
Chat's slightly delayed on YouTube, so Twitch was like, no, and then YouTube came through and it was like, yes, absolutely. So it seems like the YouTube audience is largely broadcasting over on Fireteam Chat, and those are that's the hardcore. They're there for Destiny, right? They subscribe to Fireteam Chat for Destiny conversations, and it's interesting to see that like those players will continue to spend money on the annual pass and continue playing Destiny 2, depending on largely what the content is. But a lot of other people will lapse.
I'll say for me, I'm one of those people. They come out with, let's say the annual pass is $30. I'm going to spend $30 because whether I'm actively playing Destiny every day, like I have been in the past, or if I'm just checking in, you know, every few weeks, month or whatever, I still want to be able to experience whatever that next piece of content for it will be. And because I love the franchise. I just love what they do. But at the same time, I don't want them to waste too much energy on that content that'll come in the next year. If it's their live team that's putting that out via the annual pass, so be it. That's fine. But I would want Bungie proper working on whatever Destiny 3 is going to be. I think that needs to be the priority to keep the franchise going. Because if Destiny 3, let's put it this way, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but if Destiny 3 launches the way that Destiny 2 did, let's say the first 90 days of Destiny 2 is the same 90 days for Destiny 3, it's a wrap. It's over.
Yeah.
People will not come back to that game. It needs to come out of the box swinging, and they need as much content as they possibly can at launch.
Especially because people know Destiny 3 is probably it for the franchise. Like, that's their 10-year cycle, right? Maybe they'll go after that. But that's like the finality of what they plan to do over that 10-year period. Was a Destiny 1 through 3 and sort of wrap it up there. Anyway, if you guys want to hear more Destiny talk, great points, Parris and Dantics. Thank you guys so much for adding to that. But let's move on to Division 2, because I do have a fun little segment later where we can kind of talk about some of the stuff that you alluded to in those Destiny conversations. So Parris, you know what's going on with Division 2 probably better than all of us, so why don't you take this segment away? What happened on the show that happened this morning? What did they tell us?
Yeah, so Massive at Ubisoft, they do a state of the game for the Division, and now the Division 2, they do it every week. So today they talked about World Tier 5, because that came out last Friday. So just what people can expect in the World Tier 5. You know, the weapon mods, they made some changes to those. So they changed the mods in the sense, some people in the community love it, some people don't, where there were a lot of mods that had positive and negative.
I love it. That means I give it a thumbs
sorry.
up.
I thought you were telling me
absolutely.
Talk louder. Yeah. I like the mods. I like the changes that they made to the mods, because some of the mods had positive attributes and negative attributes, and they kind of tweaked that to where there's now mods that only have positive attributes, but they're not as powerful. Whereas the ones that still have positive and negative attributes, they've toned down the negativity on them. Let's put it that way. I think it's great. I think it was a good change they made. They talked about Tidal Basin, which is the big stronghold from World Tier 4 that gates you into World Tier 5. I played through it. Had a lot of fun with it. I like the pacing of it. Some very light mechanics, which may be a hint towards the raid that they're going to have on April 25th, I believe. They talked about their event, which is their last chance to get the free keys for the apparel caches that you can get in the game. And this is just like, a fashion show, just cosmetic items. And if you already logged into the game, there's like 3 free keys you can get. And if you haven't logged in yet, they're telling you to log in now or you'll lose that chance. They're doing something which I am all for. They're doing a PTS on the PC side, which is basically a test server on, which will for their next big update that's going to come out, title update that's coming out.
Wait, Parris, you're saying that a game can do a test realm and a normal game realm?
Yeah.
This is what?
Can I just say this is so damn needed for so many games?
Yeah.
Like, why isn't this around?
Well, the irony is they even explained why it's PC only and not console. Like they tried it a little bit in the Division 1 on the console. And you know how that whole QA process and everything goes to get things out. It was just too much. So they're like, PC, where it can be way more flexible. That's where we're going to do the test. So the PC audience on Uplay will be able to jump in, test out the update before it comes out. So if and when there's bugs and issues, they get that feedback and they can try and get those fixed before the update comes out to everyone else.
Anthem, Destiny, even Borderlands when it comes out. Guys, please do this. Please do this. Yes. Crucible Labs is just, you didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's dead.
You did like 3 things. You never came back to it. It would have been great to have this for Anthem. Anthem kind of did the beta thing we're not allowed to admit that we were ever a part of. But
I still signed the contract, man.
There's rumors that took place for some people. I don't know who. But it would be great if more games did that regularly.
Any live service game doesn't have to be a splooter. Any live service game needs to have a PTS. It needs to have, like, Dota 2, for example, not a looter shooter, has a public test server. You can go in there, try out new heroes, new items, all that stuff, without ruining the balance of the game. And there's a lot of issues in the case. There's a lot. They make a lot of changes. The changes come before it goes live. And then when it's finally live, you have a relatively balanced experience. And that's what we need.
Overwatch does this, and it works excellently. Anyway, Parris, I interrupted you. I just wanted to throw a little bit of snark into the show, because I'm a little bit sarcastic if people haven't picked up on that yet. Anyway, continue.
No, final thing was the AI right now is super aggressive, and they're going to patch that to tone that down. And they explained the issue was once World Tier 5 unlocked, basically the AI goes, I am superior to every player in this game. So it feels it can win every encounter. So that's why all the AI characters are very aggressive and will rush you and not give you any time to do anything. And you're getting flanked and you'll die.
I kind of like it.
I do too, actually.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
It's kind of fun.
It's kind of interesting to me. Just movement speed in general for the AI opponents, though, in Division 2, I'm just like, why are they so damn fast? Like, their speed when moving from cover to cover needs to be slowed down, seriously, like 50%. It feels like they're teleporting almost at twice speed to cover. Would you agree on that, Parris? You've played the most, probably.
No, I would agree with what you're saying. And it was funny. I got to talk to a couple of the massive guys because they were out for GDC, and they specifically worked on the AI of the game, and they kind of broke just down the way they've implemented into the world. And you would think that these characters are just like on a set script and timer, but everything's dynamic in the open world with the AI, and they react to you accordingly on what you do. And the one story, just real quick, if I can say what prompted me, I wanted to talk to the guys. I had a side mission I was doing where there was these AI on a 3rd floor in this courtyard, and I'm down on the bottom floor. And I kid you not, one of them went all the way downstairs to flank me from. I'm like, how are we getting shot? And I turn around, I'm like, oh my God, these dudes are that smart. They know to come down. And they were explaining that, they react to that. And if they have a path to get you and flank you, they will do it. It's, again, the AI for such a live service open world game is some of the best I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Last question I have for you, Parris. What's this key thing? Apparently today is the last day to get your free keys. Do you know what they were talking about?
Yeah, the apparel cache that I was just talking about. It's the fashion show. So you can get these cosmetic items. So anyone that's actively been playing the game already, if you logged in, you got the keys. But if you haven't logged in since World Tier 5 unlocked, you have your last chance this week to actually log in and get those keys before they're gone forever. But if you don't get them, you can just play the game and you'll naturally get those keys throughout the game.
Dantics, you going to start the Division 2 grind? I did it. I did it, believe it or not. I hit World Tier 5 last night. Last night I hit it. I'm actually pretty stoked because for me, now the game begins. April 25th, the raid is out. It's 25th, right, Parris? Yeah, April 25th, the raid hits. I'm 450 gear score. I'm going to be able to get to the 500, which is sort of the cap right now. You can cheese it and get a little above that, I've heard. But that's where we're at. We're going to continue growing from there. Are you going to do the grind?
Probably not. I hate to say it. I've got so many time-consuming games to get through, and I really, really want to get through pre-sequel again for Borderlands, so I've got a bit more footage for what is coming up very soon.
Ooh.
So, yeah, well, the storyline is very important. That's what I'm going to say.
I have a question for you, Destin, because this goes back to Destiny, but relates with the Division 2. So by the time the raid does come out, April 25th, it will have been 45 days since early access that the game's been out to when you can play. Now, I have followed you and I've seen you no life some Destiny, new content comes out, life it for 3-4 days, however long before the raid comes out, and then you jump in and you do the raid. Which approach do you prefer? Do you prefer that, hey, I got to just jump right in and I just got to grind to get raid ready, or the approach that they're taking with the Division 2, we're just going to give you a month and a half, play the game at your leisure. By the time the raid comes, if you want to participate day one, you'll be ready to go. You've had plenty of time.
I'm incredibly glad you asked that question because I was going to throw it to you guys with the exact same question, because I find it interesting that in Destiny, they're like, you got 5 days, go. You know, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to do the review and I got to know life Destiny and I'm going to take a day off work and then, make sure the review's out and whatever. Meanwhile, here comes Division 2 and I'm just kind of the guy that's like eating a hamburger, drinking my water. Oh, there's a raid? Yeah, I guess I'll play. Do the grind, get my gear up, and I show up. And I'm like, hey, guys, what's going on? Oh, there's a raid? All right, sure, I'll try it. And it feels weird. I feel less passionate about the grind. I'm less incentivized to, like, really, really gear up and get ready. It's 4:10. I have more than enough time to be ready for the 25th raid. I don't know what's going to happen in between those two periods, between today, and the 25th. I'm sure there'll be some interesting things. I'm excited to get a really, really cool gear set, but I feel like it's too much time. And
so you need an incentive.
I prefer the shorter window. There's like no incentive for me to rush. I guess I like it because of my work schedule. Like I'm able to casually be ready. But I also wonder if a lot of players are going to end up being frustrated if the raid has really, really interesting mechanics that have a lot of puzzle-based elements where like they can't do it week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 because it throws stuff at them that they're not used to. It's going to be really, really interesting because this is a game that's just like, all right, you got 45 days to prep for the raid. And like, I'll be ready. I'll probably be raiding on day 1 with a bunch of guys from work. It sounds like we have a team about like 6 or 7. And also it's an 8-player raid. That is a big group to get together for Division 2. You got to get a bunch of people that are like 500 gear score. I think I have 6 or 7 and we need to find an 8th right now. So like, that's where we're at. Parris, you got a crew, right?
Kinda. I have a clan.
Big Division guy.
I am. The clan I'm in, they're going to do a day 1 raid. I don't know if I'll be able to participate day 1 though, unfortunately. So if I can, I'm good to go, but still not 100% sure because I have other commitments. I do have another question for you related to the subject.
Well, wait. Let's hear from Dantics. Dantics,
sure.
Do you prefer a long wait to get ready for a big pivotal event in a game? Or do you think that it should be a shorter wait to sort of like get people excited?
Well, first, I just want to say, if you're taking a day off to finish a review and finish a game, you're not taking a day off, buddy. So make sure you take off real days off. All right? Second, I'm with you, Destin. I really am. I think if you're very committed to a game, you need that little push, that little bit of motivation to really grind it out and play it and access that late game content, that ultimately end game content, because the people that do, the loyalists of the game really need something. They need something that's just for them. If everyone can get in and play a raid and everyone can get in and do something, then it's not really as special. It doesn't require you to put as much commitment in.
Agree.
So that's where I'm sitting personally.
All right.
I actually agree with you, and it actually leads right into my question of what you're saying. So it's 8-man raid. Mm-hmm. They've not said either way if there's matchmaking. So we know with Destiny, there's no matchmaking, right? And I'll state my feeling on this. I like the Bungie approach to it. I feel that if you're going to give me this pinnacle activity that requires so much communication, puzzle solving, the whole deal, there's no way you can randomly matchmake me with 5 other people. It'll be like herding cats. And if the Division does this for 8 people, my God, I just think it'll be chaos, or they're going to dumb down the experience so that it isn't so mechanic heavy. It isn't reliant so much on puzzle solving and communication so that you can do it. And to go to what you just said, I don't want that. I want a pinnacle activity that requires some effort. Now, do I think they need some kind of in-game LFG where you can set certain requirements to get people together? Absolutely. But if that's not there, I don't want blind matchmaking at all. So question to you. I'm curious your thought.
Great question, and thank you for asking it. I have a response for that question. And the problem with that thought and that philosophy is because most people compare it to Bungie's absolutely awful matchmaking techniques for activities.
Right.
Have you ever played Final Fantasy 14, either of you guys?
I haven't.
Have you ever played World of Warcraft?
Yep.
No, because I like being married. No, I've not.
That's fair. Have you? Have you ever played any MMO or any game that has raids and actually has an in-game system that allows you to pair with people with the necessary requirements, like having a mic and being a certain level and being able to go into certain activities? Games have done this, and they've done it well, and they've done it well for decades. There's no reason Division 2 couldn't figure it out and have some sort of implementation.
And that I agree.
That makes sense. So
yeah,
yes, it should have matchmaking. Stop thinking about matchmaking the way Destiny does, because they don't do it right.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, because I am thinking of it the way that Bungie is doing it right now. And you're right. It's terrible. But if they were to refine it, like you're saying, and have something that has specific spelled out requirements to matchmake people with, then yeah, I'd be all for it.
Yep.
I think I prefer a looking for group system. I would prefer just to have a little bit of a lobby beforehand, before you jump into something that requires 8 players and communication. I would like to get to know at least who I'm getting in with, who I'm getting in bed with this raid. If it's going to be a 30-minute commitment or 2 hours or 3 hours like it is for...
That's not involved in my raid groups. I don't know.
But, well, you're not in the right raid groups. Let me tell you that. Well, I guess that's my main point. Is I want to be able to communicate properly, know that they have a mic, that they're the right headspace, that they really want to get this done. They're not going to troll. They're not going to try to steal items or any of that stuff. Not that you can in Division, but I want that all working beforehand. So looking for group system would be great. Maybe not just throw you into a random group of 7 others.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I did have one more segment, but I was having such a good time talking with you guys. I realized we're actually at about the hour. Do you guys have time to hang out, or do you guys got other responsibilities you got to get to? Dantics?
I could do 15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes? Dantics? All right. So this is just sort of a fun thing I call Who Did It the Best? And I just wrote down a few topics about sort of the shared world shooters that we're talking about. And I thought it would be sort of fun to look at a few different categories and rank or pick who we thought did it best in chat. If you're listening or if you're watching live, you can kind of play along in the chat system. So who did it best? Which game has the best shooting? I can start. I think hands down Destiny has the best shooting out of Destiny, Anthem, Borderlands, or Division. Best shooting, Destiny for me. What about you, Dantics?
I actually saw some people say in the chat that they didn't want to get off Destiny just because of that fact, because it is the primo first-person shooter experience. It really is. It feels like Halo. Halo's amazing. You can't go wrong if you really want a first-person shooter experience. The guns to feel accurate, not accurate, sci-fi-y, but feel good. Then that's the game. Nothing else does it as good as that.
All right, Parris.
I think we're all in agreement on that. They're the best in the business when it comes to that, hands down.
All right, who's the second best? See, now it gets tough because you look at the shooting at Anthem. It's not particularly great. They have a few interesting high-level guns that do interesting things, but does the shooting feel good? Not necessarily.
I'm gonna say Division.
Same thing. You kind of just shoot stuff. Borderlands, however.
If that's included, I'd say Borderlands.
I think Borderlands is going to get second place for me because the guns do interesting things that kind of give it a nod. And then everybody else ties third place for me. What about you guys? Same?
I think we're in agreement again. Yeah.
Damn it.
I would say
that. It's not interesting if we all agree with each other.
Well, I think Anthem is the best shooting.
Yeah.
Call me an idiot or something. Get the show on. All right. This one I think will be a little bit more heated. Who has the best loot progression? So when you start the game to like World Tier 5 or you start the game to the raid and then you kind of gear up past there. This one's really, really tough for me to pick. I don't think it's Anthem because Anthem, you kind of get everything up front and then you kind of go through.
I'm actually going to say that's the worst progression out of them all right now.
Probably.
I hate to say it.
Right. Everything's same.
Everything's the same.
I would agree.
Division 2 does it really, really, really well. And the fact that it allows you to power up old guns that you get, you never really feel like anything's worthless. You're constantly like going for gear sets. Chad is largely saying Division also. Like Division has a really good loot progression. And then we have Destiny and Borderlands. I think Borderlands also does a fairly poor job, at least in Borderlands 2, because you kind of just get these guns that you just end up selling and then hoping for a higher level drop later, right? What about you guys? I'd like to hear. Let's start with you, Dantics. What do you think? Who has the best loot progression? I'm kind of just working it out as I'm talking about it.
Yeah. All right. So let's start at the bottom. I think Anthem really is all the same when it comes to loot. I think, you get a green, you get a blue, you get a purple. They're all the same. They're all the same. They're just something that's tweaked. Something is a little bit of something is tweaked. Then you have something like I think we'll rank Borderlands and maybe even Destiny on the same page here. I think with Borderlands, you get a gun and you get a better one so quickly that you're encouraged to sell it and not use it and not get an attachment to it. You can't upgrade it like you can in Division or keep it going. And not that that's a bad thing for the type of game that it is. Lots of people love that. They love cycling through guns, having new interesting effects. I like it in its own way, but in terms of progression, I'm not sure if it's exactly spot on. You don't see a lot of legendaries. You don't see a lot of unique, interesting effects as you're leveling that you get to keep for a while. So I'm going to have to say Division. Division probably does it the best.
Parris?
Okay, instead of me just saying we're all in agreement again, I'll actually talk it out and say that, Anthem is very uninspiring for me as far as the loot goes. Borderlands, I want to give myself a pass because it's been so long since I've played the game. I can't confidently comment on the loot system of that. I don't remember it being awe-inspiring or anything like that. But when we get to Destiny, I feel like it was really bad. The economy was all over the place at one point. Then they started to fix it. They got it to a good spot by the end of Destiny 1, I felt. Then they threw all that away to launch Destiny 2. Then I feel like they've started to get it back to a good place again by the time we got to Forsaken. Then they introduced these freaking enhancement cores and they broke it again.
Yeah, there's a big thread on Reddit right now. Just get rid of them. At this point, they just got to get rid of them. But it's the Division 2 for me because I feel like everything I pick up can have a purpose. I can do something with every piece of gear that I have, even if I'm at gear score like 495 right now or something like that. But even if I pick up something that's gear score 400, it may have a talent that I could use on another gun. So I'm going to keep it and I'm going to recalibrate it, or, the economy of I may give to control points, or I may use it to upgrade an exotic. I mean, craft a blueprint, things like that. So no matter what you pick up in the game, it's not an immediate, I'm just junking it. Because even if it is junk, instead of junking it, maybe I just go sell it to get more credits to use for something else. So if anything, and Destin, I know you've been a big champion of this, massive, we need more stash space. It ain't enough because I want to keep everything. Yeah, I need to sit down like and get my spreadsheet out and figure out like how I'm gonna min max all my loot. And like I have to do that in Destiny, and now I have to do that in Division, and I'm kind of hit that wall. I think somebody really needs to figure out just loot progression in general, because it's sort of this brick wall you hit in all these games, and it's fun. But there should be some sort of tool to help you sort it all out, or maybe recommend like, hey, you should really keep all this stuff because it's really good. All right, you don't want to? Whatever. What am I? I'm just like the computer that was made to specifically tell you that stuff.
Right.
Can I add to that just slightly? I think while you're progressing,
no. Go ahead.
Just sink down now. No, when you're progressing, a lot of fun of leveling is building your character. So say you have a character that's specifically good at using pistols. You're going to want to find those pistols. There's got to be a system in the game that's like, all right, well, you want good pistols. This is what you got to do to get it. And here's your good pistol. You can now level it up with you, or you can now change it around or find some other good ones. But this is your goals to make your build work with where you're going with it. So I think there needs to be something like that as you level to make loot make sense, if that makes sense.
No, I'm actually 100% with you on that. I agree.
All right, I got two more. One's sort of like a combo, and then one's man, I'm just thinking of these like now they're like really pouring out my brain. But okay, so we'll start here. Which of the games has the best story that's in the game?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Hands down, Borderlands.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's humor based, but I think Borderlands hands down has the best story out of all the games. What do you guys think? That's in the game. Dantics?
Yeah, look, 100% Borderlands. The reason my brain just switched off was because I can't decide what's the worst.
Right.
But if it's just the best, it's just the best Borderlands. I was just like, I used the Steam link last night to finish off Tales of the Borderlands on the couch. My God, man, I was in stitches. It was the best. It's so much fun.
Really fun, yeah.
The series has just nailed something with the humor, with the characters. If there was less of like a grind in the first game, I think the whole series would have been perfect. But yeah.
Parris?
Let's move off me for the worst. Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, I mean,
best.
The best is Borderlands because, like you said, it actually had humor in it. It had memorable characters that we're still talking about today. Whereas, like, I'll give you an example. The Division 2, I can't even tell you what that story is. I don't know because I just played through it. I barely paid attention to that story. It was very forgettable to me. Anthem, as we know, that story was a little broken, kind of all over the place. And we know the struggles that Destiny has had with its stories over the years. Forsaken, they've really seemed to start to get it right. But before that, it was kind of all over the place too.
All right. So worst, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Division has a worse story than Anthem. I think Division slightly takes the lead as worst story. Tom Clancy's The Division 2 has the worst story over Anthem, just slightly. Anthem's story is pretty bad, only because it's sort of broken apart. Division, I just don't fucking care. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but like I really don't care what's happening in that world. Oh, there's some virus and everybody's dead and you gotta fight. Oh, who cares? Just let me shoot stuff, And like, there's little character motivation for me in the world of Division.
The only thing I remember from the Division 2 story is we rescued the president. I think that's about all I know. There was a mission with the president. Other than that, I have no idea.
Nav nailed it on the head. Anthem's story has the potential to be really interesting. And that's it. That's why it gets the nod. Yeah.
I'm going to give him the one up because of the effort, right? They do proper cutscenes, they try to put a good storyline in. I think with the Division, there was a slideshow at the start, and then I never went back to paying attention to the story. There was something deep in the menu. You could look at cutscenes. I remember finding it off chance once, and then I just, I'm like, 5 to 10 hours in, and I just don't know what I'm doing, to be honest.
All right, last two questions really quick. Best story not in the game, and I will say hands down Destiny guess the best story not in the game. This would include books. Maybe there's some books I don't know about, or comic books. I know Division has a comic book series that potentially is really good. But for me, I think Destiny has the most interesting lore and the grimoire and the text stuff. What about you, Parris? Which one do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you again on that. It's Destiny because again, there's just so much backstory and all that lore and like the Grimoire cards and just there's such a rich universe that they've created that if they can just get more of that stuff into the game while we're playing, I mean, it would really enhance the experience.
Mm-hmm. Dantics?
Looking at all the cinematics, I was super excited. So yeah, I think there was a lot of potential in this series, especially with the money that they dropped on it. So we're all in agreement again.
All right. Okay. Last question, and this is the last one for the show. What were you going to say, Dantic? Sorry.
I was going to ask a question, but let's do yours as the last question.
Okay. I know you guys got family and responsibilities, so here we go. Last question. Which game has the best gameplay feel, like when you're actually in combat? This includes like shooting, mobility, like combos and stuff like that in Anthem, ultimates or supers. I was going to make that its own category, but we'll just say best gameplay. And I don't mean the grind. I mean moment to moment action, that 5 minutes of fun that the Halo team sort of came up with. And I might give the nod to Anthem. Personally, That's my personal take, because I feel like when I'm jumping around and it's really, really doing well in Anthem, I give the nod to Anthem. Dantics, you agree on that one?
100%. Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I knew where you were alluding to with when you started that question. I'm like, you know what I'm going to say. If they nailed something magical in the combat with Anthem, it's the only thing that holds it back is the sheer variety of it, right? Mm-hmm. So if you just need to jump into a game, play 5 minutes of combat, which stands out? Anthem to me, because it has the verticality, as a 3D space. It has the skills that really feel good when you get them off. I mean, you don't even need to do really anything else. And then there's ultimates, and then there's guns, and yeah. So for me, that's number one.
Parris?
Here's where we actually disagree.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
And I was going back and forth in my head. Is it Destiny or is it Division 2? It's Destiny, man. When I think about moment to moment, oh my God, did we just pull that off gameplay? Destiny gets it every time for me, because just, again, we talked about how great the weapons are in the game. And when you can combo that with the various supers that you have between the classes, it doesn't get better than that for me, man. It's why no matter whether I'm playing it right now, I'll always come back to it, because I love that what's the word I'm looking for? That loop that you can have in there from moment to moment.
It was really tough for me to say Anthem, because I think about all the years I've spent in Destiny. I think about just the Firefly effect, shooting a gun, exploding enemies, and then watching them just pop like popcorn, like that feels so good. But the Iron Man simulator gameplay where you're running around detonating combos in Anthem, like those times when it's really working and functioning well, man, it feels good. It feels really good. And then you have the ultimates. They do need more ultimates, but this is like V1 of Anthem. I think there's potential there. And I think about how much fun I had in Anthem and what kept me coming back. And it was that the thing that keeps me away from Anthem is the dumb grind. I don't think the grind is particularly compelling right now. With Destiny, it has great gameplay. It has a pretty solid grind. That's what keeps you coming back to Destiny. So I just gave Anthem the nod slightly, but that's a tough call. That's a harder one for me. Anyway, that was just a fun, dumb game I came up with. Parris, you wanted to say something?
No, I'll just say one thing. So since I'm on the show and I have the opportunity to say this, because I know you obviously talk about Anthem a lot. I've been very tough on the game. I've been very critical of it, but I've always said from the get, when I first got a chance to play it, that I can see the potential of it. The game has great bones. Let's put it that way, where I can see that if they get the time to build upon what's there, there's a fantastic game. And it's a lot of quality of life things that they're going to need to iterate on and to get right. And then just obviously add more content, add more different gameplay types, things of that nature. But once they get there, like I said, the Iron Man simulator is already in place. The combinations that you can do are already there. The world that's there is freaking gorgeous. So the bones is there to make something good. I just hope EA BioWare gets the time to actually flesh this game out and make it something that I'll look back at a year from now and go, man, I really got to go get back in the Anthem. They've really done some great things to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I want to see as well. I think I want to come around next year E3 and they're just a major change to the game and we can all jump in and be like, whoa, what has happened? This is amazing. But at the same time, I don't want them to take away too much from Dragon Age 4 and Mass Effect 4. Please do those games justice.
Yep.
That's it we have for this week for random Who Did It Best. And I have a lot of ideas for where we could go. For example, who could we talk about having the best AI? We talked about it for Divisions for this show. Maybe that would be another topic for another episode. But
best unique weapon.
Yeah, we'll get into it later. But I think I came up with a pretty cool segment. Sounds like a lot of fun. Dantics, you're pretty busy this week, right?
Yeah, very busy. I'll be busy over the full weekend. So I guess that's why we did this early. Me and Alex were busy. So sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you have a life? Quick note on that. We'll be back live on the 21st. We record Sundays at 11 a.m. It's myself, Dantics, and Eric's. This week, Parris joined us. Parris, thank you so much. We're recording a little bit earlier in the week. I'm so happy you could stop on the show. And you were a great addition. I appreciate you taking the time and saying hello.
Again, thank you for having me on. This was definitely a treat. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Where can people find your stuff again, just in case they missed it at the beginning?
You can find it over at gamertagradio.com. You can find us at twitch.tv/gamertagradio. And you can find my YouTube channel, youtube.com, and it is Marcelo696. And my Twitter is at Vicious696.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, chat. If you're watching live, stay tuned. I'm going to be grinding out in Division live on the stream right after this. And if you're listening, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a review. We're doing actually really well on iTunes loot drops. If you're already subscribed to Freelancer Chat, which we evolved into loot drops, you're already in the right place. But if you haven't subscribed yet, you can find loot drops on your favorite listening device or platform of your preference. So be sure to check us out there. I'll be right back, or I will see you again shortly. Bye for now, everybody.